Ro.16, Group D. Cure, Astrea, Ryung, Solar. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, Live, 2023, GSL Season 2.
Welcome back, everybody. It is now time to wrap up Group D and the round of 16. This is it. From here, it's either Ryung or Solar who moves on into the round of 8. And of course, over the course of next week, we're going to go through that whole phase of the tournament. After that, it's just one day of the round of 4 and the finals. So GSL, after today, it moves very, very quickly.
Yeah, we're going to kick it in high gear, but first, one of these gamers going to advance to the round of 8. Will it be the 6th Terran player in the round of 8, or will we get a second Zerg?
Yeah, let's find out. I mean, I got to say, the most one-sided series we had in the round of 16 was actually Ryung versus Solar.
Yeah, the first series.
Yeah.
Ryung did not look very good, but once he went up against Astrea, it seemed like he really had his bearings. He buckled down a little bit. He played some very clean games, able to win that series 2-1. And now you have to wonder whether that's going to aid him here against Solar in their second meeting of Group D.
2023 GSL Season 2. On-side gaming, Ryung. On-side gaming, Solar.
Curious to see how Ryung kind of retools for this best of 3 now after having gotten, frankly, stomped in their first meeting.
Just crushed, man. And also, I mean, you know that what he tried to do in that first series was probably the best stuff he had, right?
That's a good point. Not going to play many Zergs in the GSL.
You don't need to save that much, right?
Yeah.
So if Solar advances, it'll be the same distribution. Oh my God! I'm an Ogre Zerg gamer. I look at that.
That's a
The
fantastic
drawing's uncanny.
drawing. It looks exactly like
It
you.
looks just like me.
I feel like I'm looking at a picture right now.
It's me, but just with, I think the beard was only on the chin, so it was like a little bit more of a neck beardy, tasteless, but yes.
Captured your essence.
Yeah, I thought it was a photo. I thought he was holding up a mirror to me. Like, and then I realized the mouth wasn't moving. What was I going to say? Oh, so if Solar moves on, it is the same distribution.
Yeah,
if
5 Terrans, 1 Protoss, 2 Zergs.
If Ryung moves on, it's the distribution we wanted anyways, which is just even more Terrans in Season 1.
And last season we had 4 Terrans in the top 4.
Yeah. And look, I mean, we can all agree, right? I mean, that was the worst part about Season 1 was there was not enough Terrans in the... That's right. The Zergs and the Protoss would come out and people go, boo, they throw tomatoes. Get them off the stage.
Humans rise up!
Yes.
The only skilled race. All Protoss do is cheese.
You watch, we're going to have Ryung advance, and then it's going to be 3 TVTs and 1 PVC. No! Our tournament.
I got to say, though, I mean, as much as we bash the distribution from GSL Season 1, the TVTs were really good at the round of 4. We had some fantastic games. It just is funny when you have just one race at the top, you know, whether it be Terran, Protoss, or Zerg. It always feels odd.
It does. It does.
I mean, I play Protoss, so of course I have a soft spot in my heart for that race. But even if it was like 4 Protosses in the top of GSL, it's like, yeah, no, that's not fun. I don't want to watch a bunch of PvPs.
It is. You know, a lot of times you'll have. It's not as often as you'd think. I mean, we usually do get a pretty fortunate, you know, distribution of each of the 3 races here in the game. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here. I will say, if Solar doesn't advance, Dark and Hero are good enough to still win the whole thing.
It is possible.
But we do seem to be currently in an era where in Korea, people seem to be clicking with the race.
It does feel that way. Especially watching Hero play some of these games, both in Season 1 and in Season 2, where you feel like he's not playing that bad, but you look at the results on screen and it just doesn't manifest. You know, like he'll make these plays where you think he's trying to gain an advantage, but at the end of the day, he's really just getting whittled down by a Terran. It is surprising. I wonder if it's a map pool thing, because we do have the same map pool here from Season 1.
You know, it could be. I mean, it really is an art to make a good tournament map, right? Because each of the matchups have different parameters, and I think if, you know, let's say it's the map pool. It could either be that Zerg have a tough time keeping their fourth base up because it pushes, or that the late game kind of lends itself to the Zerg getting whatever bases they have and then not being able to do much with it.
Yeah, like the split map scenario we saw earlier between Cure and Solar.
Yeah, that, at least in my head, would be the two deciding factors that could make it a Terran map. And you know what? If we go back like 6 or 7 years, I think a lot of the maps were a little bit bigger and had a little bit more expansions for the Zerg to kind of run around and work with.
It does feel that way a little bit.
It feels like that, but I don't actually have the data in front of me. It's just something that kind of came to me.
Especially looking here at Babylon, I mean, this does feel smaller than a lot of maps that we did have in the past. Although there are a ton of bases, the actual distance doesn't feel that far to navigate. And anyway, Ryung coming in right now, made a lot of Hellions out of this factory, going for this 3cc 111 build. This will not be mech behind this, as we saw earlier from Cure. Instead, double engineering bay now going down, so more barracks will be added inevitably here, but a lot of Hellions. Bit of an older style, it almost feels like. We usually don't see this many Hellions coming out in TVZ to contest map control and try to keep the creep spread under control. Usually it's more of a bio-leaning TVZ meta that we see right now, but Ryung with a little bit of a throwback here. Doing a good job of keeping these creep tumors at bay at the top side of the map. And Solar with a lot of Lings now moving across. See if he can find anything. And yeah, the wall, and I'm not surprised at this point. It's always down, Tasteless.
Dude, it's always down.
It's always down.
I was not ready for it to be down. I mean, you see it coming, but you assume, you know, well, for sure this is not going to go all the way through. This is already a very bad moment here for Ryung.
I suppose it's not that bad. He only lost 4 SCVs, and yeah, there is some idle time where you're transferring like all of these workers, which you absolutely do not intend to do, but they are still going to another base, right? So now it's just kind of this awkward, lopsided rally point with SCVs from here on out. But I feel like just resetting the Marine count is what hurts the most right there.
I think so. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the workers, anytime you lose workers is bad, right? But I think resetting the Marine count as Stim finishes. Do you guys see Marines?
Not very many on the map.
Yeah.
For a second, I paused there, like I was expecting chat to just be like, "I don't see any Marines."
I don't.
I was like, "I'll wait. I'll let them speak their minds."
Chat's like, "Well, let's see what state says." No, guys, you have the same screen we do. Come on.
But yeah, Solar right now just powering up with 1-1. Centrifugal hooks also underway. Look at this nice surround.
Look at this. The Queen is going to be tan from every side after being hit with that.
That's me cooking right now.
That's right.
I got this sous vide machine at home, and I got the little blowtorch with a can of propane. That's how I cook mine, just like that Queen, you know?
You're going to have delicious food until you burn your apartment down. Like
yeah, it's right next to the paper towels, too. I should really think this one, this one through. It's okay. I also have a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
I've read that label more times than I care to admit.
You keep it by your paper mache art exhibit in your house. Okay, so the push is coming out now.
Yeah, Solar does scout that Ryung is going for a 4th command center behind this, so it's not going to be an incredibly heavy pressure levied by the Terran. He is still posturing for that late game here with the 4th command center, just powering up with 5 barracks. Surely more will be added now. Actually opting to add in some more factories. Now, this did work for Cure, I think, in the first match that he played against Solar, where his siege tank count was just so high. There was one point where Solar came into the natural in the 3rd base and killed, I think, 3 siege tanks. And when Cure pushed across the map, he still had more than 10. And so we'll see if Ryung learned a little bit watching that match from the sidelines and maybe adjust his play, because he just did see a TVZ kind of run a clinic on how to beat Solar. But ooh, what a surround right there.
Yeah, you know, I think the only thing that was going great for Ryung back there was that medevac marine control. But, I mean, the Hellions got annihilated. And remember that, all Solar has to do is kind of get to where he needs to be as far as an income and as far as tech. And as long as he can keep swatting away these attacks, he's going to be fine. He's already looking very good as far as supply goes.
Yeah, but Ryung is keeping pace right now. That 4th command center, once it lifts and gets secured, it's going to be good. Wow, I'm surprised Solar got that cancel.
No way he cancels that with that down there, but he's good.
A very fast reaction
He's got the gamer reflexes, man.
Ryung, though, with a nice catch here, is going to be able to get 3 queens. Oh, that medevac even is going to survive. Just one shot, I think, away from going down, maybe 2, as Solar was trying to get it. Is able to escape. And I got to say, Ryung looking a lot better so far in game 1 of this series than he did in the first match against Solar. He seems to really have found his bearings since that first series of the night.
Well, Ryung, he has had to back up for the time being. How many bases is Solar on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bases is good. 6 bases is where you need to be. This map is very tall. The distance between the north and south is not the easiest thing for the Zerg to cover, but he's paving the ground with creep pretty nicely. We've got that classic late game split of 2 groups of I don't know why I'm using different words. I'm like inventory. 2 groups of infantry, one in the north, one in the south, trying to hit. But so far, neither's really had any success.
Yeah, Ryung's playing a little bit more of a passive game. It seems like he's more fixed on trying to slow the spread of the creep as opposed to actually denying these bases, as he is gunning for that late game now with 2 factory siege tank in production, and yeah, 3 orbitals now, or 3 command centers I should say, underway, as well as a Ghost Academy. So Ryung trying to take a page out of Kira's book from that first series and start to play for the late game. He is right now only on 4 command centers, which means only 4 gases. So with double siege tank production and ghosts underway, in addition to 3-3, he's going to be very gas starved, and going to be very hungry to get that 5th base set up. Now, where he decides to take it remains to be seen. Might be the 6 o'clock position, could also be the top right base, but Solar, now that he's reaching max, it has a sizable bank of about 3K res. Would not be surprised to see him start to trade these units off.
Okay, another big push down here. I don't see anything to defend other than this big string of, oh, hold on, he's just going to pick up and get right back out. So that was a very good kill.
Yeah.
Very, very good kill. Creep, though, is still dominating the map.
Yeah, the creep spread is almost getting out of hand at this point right now, as Solar just going to retake that expansion.
Although I will say, so far, this is the best game Ryung's played against Solar. For sure.
Solar right now, I think he's waiting for some critical upgrades to complete before he actually starts to trade in to the Terran, as he does have a very sizable bank. Adrenal glands, maybe about 30 seconds from completion here. Right now, he's just going to try and push the Terran back a little tiny bit, delay this 5th expansion for as long as possible. Of course, those 9th and 10th gas geysers for Terran. Critical if they do want to play a late game style, as Ryung is pivoting for. And so many command centers. By the way, I want to see the structures tab. It's not a tab I usually want to see very much, but I feel like we're building so many CCs. I just look at the mini map. I mean, there's look at all these little tiny square boxes. We got 3 command centers right there at the 3rd base. There's 2 here in the middle with the planetary morphing in.
We're getting to the point where there's not going to be a need for SCVs soon. You can start really just landing a lot of mules over here.
Yeah, and one of the benefits of that is having a larger army supply means that you can take much more cost-efficient trades, as those ghosts really want its EMP, that lone Viper for Solar. This one burrowed Ling delaying this command center so much right now. Creep spread too. You could dissect, you could bisect this map across the middle, and more than half of it is just completely covered by creep now. Yeah. So they're coming in here with a 6K bank of minerals. He wants to trade these units out, able to take out all of these siege tanks as these adrenal
just crushed this position. Beautifully done.
Yeah, I mean, those Lings just did work.
Oh, get the tank.
That was a textbook attack right there by Solar. And now Ryung is, for the moment, back on the 3-base economy. I mean, he was not able to secure that position, even with the planetary, even with the siege tanks, against just one Viper. And behind that, I mean, Solar, he only spent 2,000 minerals out of his bank, still with 5K res total in reserves here. And I mean, once this Remax kicks in, he's just going to go again, I think.
I think so. And I mean, look, at this point in time, any base that Solar takes for now, it's like he's trying to book a reservation to really use that for later. He's taking it because he's just taking up more of the map. So when you see Ryung come out and take out a base, it's not like, oh, eye for an eye, I see. Not at all. And I think now we're getting to the point where Solar has so much gas and so many minerals, whereas, Ryung is kind of hitting the bottom over and over. He can come in and attack these positions over and over and over again and trade even inefficiently. And a lot of times this is sort of the beginnings of the Terran folly.
Absolutely. I mean, with this kind of bank, Solar can remax, maybe twice with all the minerals that he's gathering at the same time. 85 drones in total, as he's going to come once again on this position from both the 12 o'clock and the 9 o'clock spots. There's so many Bailings coming in. They're going to get all these SCVs. Big connections with the siege tanks as well, as Ryung trying to lift up some of these key units to put onto the high ground, but his supply count just getting absolutely obliterated. No minerals in the bank either, as the mining just does not exist right now. And you got to think that Solar, with a 5K plus res that he has in his inventory, is just going to easily retool and come back again for a killing blow.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we see these little attacks here, but they're fairly inconsequential. There's the small victories that Ryung has, because the bags of money that Solar is bringing into every minute of this game, because he's soaking up so much, allows him to do so much. Like, we see this push back out. Watch as the supply gets spiked back up to max. So there it is.
Yeah, I mean, Solar is just basically waiting on larva at that point. That's one of the nice things about these auxiliary expansions too, is not only are you kind of booking a reservation to mine out later, but also you're denying the expansion from the Terran player, and you have more larva for a very larva-intensive style here. Is
Oh, no.
My goodness. I didn't even catch that one was burning down.
Command Center, that's where your torch was left that you used to cook your food with, State. Oh, no.
Oh, Solar
that's
once again.
That's your apartment.
God, now I'm paranoid.
Yeah, all your SCVs, they were not going to repair it in time.
Solar just has so much. I mean, this is a massive amount of lurkers just pouncing on this position. All the siege tanks just getting obliterated here, and Ryung has to see the writing on the wall at this point. 129 supply, barely hanging on. Only one siege tank. I mean, the one thing he does have in his back pocket is 10 ghosts, but 10 ghosts are not going to save you in a situation like this one.
Yeah, this is I think, almost over. I don't know about that move, but I think you look at this and it's hard to see a way out. We have the fourth base for Terran mining again, but pretty soon that's going to be the only thing that has any resources at it. And I think that right now Solar has the power to even come in and wipe that out again.
Yeah, looking at the mini-map, Ryung's first three bases have almost no minerals left at all. So that fourth base, really the only full mining base here, as you can see it even in the income tab. 1,500 minerals per minute for Ryung to 3,300 for Solar. And keep in mind how many orbital commands Ryung has. So these lurkers are just going to siege this position. There really isn't anything to be done here by Ryung, as he is being bled dry. Solar is still sitting on a sizable bank. And
I love that one lurker back there. Just like, leave this one to me.
I mean, you got to think that Ryung's just going to make one Hail Mary play. I mean, I admire the fight for him in this final match, but...
Oh my God, lurkers stepping into the range. I'm sorry, Ghost into the lurker range here.
Yeah, there really isn't much chance here for Ryung at this point. He's going to be below 100 supply after this engagement, and Solar easily going to remax. Ryung finally running out of steam here. An 82 supply at this stage of the game against a max Zerg.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is mathematically impossible. The Terran has like about 500 mineral income here. I mean, think of how quickly you're seeing, any infantry die right now. GG, there it is. Okay, Solar takes game one, and I do feel like the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, just Ryung unable to take that fifth base for a very long time. This almost looks like a TVZ from maybe last year, where a lot of Terrans had this same problem trying to get over the hump of going from 4 bases to 5 bases against Zergs, and the games that Zerg would win looked a lot like this, where they would just absolutely consume their side of the map. They would build up a bank, reach that max supply, and then just continue to feed in armies into the Terran base and eventually whittle them down. and not allow them to really gather any resources. So Ryung gonna have to go back to the drawing board again, but I have to say, although he wasn't able to secure that 5th base in that match, he looked a lot better than he did in the first series. So I think he still has some life in him.
Yeah, you know, I think the thing is he has to have something that can close out a game. He has cool ideas. He's had great moments. I think that game was different in that there was nothing extraordinary about it. It's just that he was able to kind of hang on. But treading water into mid-game and then losing into late game is not going to cut it. And the other stuff he did in game 1 and, the best of 3, 1 and 2 was more interesting, I think, but also faltered even harder.
All right, Solar up 1-0 here in the final match of Group D. One map win away from a ticket to the round of 8.
2023 GSL Season 2. Onside Gaming, Ryung. Onside Gaming, Solar.
Okay, so Depot on the low ground. Are we going to have 2 Raxes?
I wonder.
We've seen this idea with a couple of the Terrans used. To good effect, by the way. I mean, look, it's not just like, oh, 2 Rax Reaper. Oh, wait a minute. It's the same hidden one?
We're going back to game 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no,
Oh, the dog found him.
Yeah.
The dog got excited and ran straight to the
That's
SCV.
right. He's going to go back home and tell Solar. He's like, woof, woof, proxy Rax.
He's really sniffing that out. He's howling even. Solar's going to hear those howls.
I know.
He's going to know.
What was that, like, dinosaur thing? Yeah, no skill. Just like that dinosaur.
The auto bird.
Yeah, it's trashing right now. Can't play late game. It's like, hey, easy, dude. Jesus.
I love all the little critters we have in StarCraft 2.
I kind of can't believe he's doing this again. Like,
I'm surprised he's proxying it. I'm not surprised he's going 2 barracks, but like just building the wall in.
Well, I mean, I guess, you know, it didn't work last time, right? We never got to actually see it pan out.
I suppose, yeah, we should give him the benefit of the doubt here and actually see this thing play itself out. Not being scouted here as Solar, despite the howls of the dog, is actually in the dark. You know, we'll see what Ryung's able to do with this. It should hit with a little bit more tempo than we normally see from this 2-Axe Reaper opening. This second Reaper will be able to join the first one almost immediately. Coming into the main base now. No Queen here just yet. Only these 4 Lings.
Yeah, now the idea is the second Reaper gives you so much more of an edge in the fight that you can start to snowball damage. And we just saw the second drone killed.
Yeah, that's pretty big for him. Good read by Ryung going into the main base as well. If he went to the natural expansion, maybe wouldn't have been able to get quite as much damage done, but instead the beeline into the main, able to pick off 2 drones, a couple of Lings, forcing more Lings to be produced here by Solar. So now a sizable worker advantage here for Ryung. He's got the third command center. Almost called it a Nexus after that.
Yeah.
It's also a town center. Like, what game is this?
Total word salad. I'd say world salad. It's like everything just gets weird. We just break down. We're schizophrenic before we can get the GG in. Well, he jumps back up in here.
Oh, the Queens are out of position. This is not good for Solar. Luckily, with the Evolution Chamber block, he is going to be able to stop Ryung from taking the perfect line into the main base. But more drones are going to fall here, as you got to see. We get to see really what Ryung was gunning for in game number 1 of this series was this 4 Reaper pressure. A little bit more intense than what we see normally with 2 Reapers on the low ground, able to get a lot of drone picks.
Well, he's continuing to do damage, although it does seem to be slowing down a little bit here.
Especially now with speed done and no more Reapers in production, but this is more than paid for itself as finally Solar able to get a bit of this around. Ryung with a nice angle to fight into. Able to trade favorably here. Actually some really good control.
I can't believe that that's actually, like, this is still going on. I was certain we were done.
Did he rally a Marine into the natural expansion during that? It sounded like a Marine dying.
Yeah, I heard a Marine shot. I was having the same thought. Oh, and he's going to go for mech.
This is cool.
He's going for robots.
Yeah, this is a nice creative build. I like seeing this one from Ryung.
Now, I want to predict something.
Yeah.
I wonder if Solar figures this out if he does a Nidus.
Ooh.
He's usually pretty on top of stuff like this.
Yeah, that would be a good read, but I wonder whether he's actually going to get the intel. And I also wonder whether this is going to be battle mech coming out of Ryung. I mean, he's been producing a lot of Hellions. His 2 factories are tucked all the way here in the back. He has seen Solar already lose a game to battle mech this evening. And, you know, the start of this game was fantastic for him. He got, what, 3 drone kills in total. He forced a ton of lings. If you're going to break Solar with a battle mech opening, I feel like this is going to be your opportunity here. This map. And I wonder if Solar is able to sniff it out,
now,
seeing only one fake. Marine.
The Stim, he's a liar.
Don't believe
he's
it.
A liar. Don't believe his lies. Did the Overlord see?
No, way out of range, I think. What? Watch Ryung just let this finish.
We're hearing the Korean casters are as confused as we are. They're like, he cancels that, right? Maybe it's some kind of alternative comp where it's like Stim, Marines, and Cyclones.
I think he doesn't need those minerals or gas right now, so he doesn't want to cancel it and have this Ling come in and get confirmation.
Yeah, you know what? I guess it's really not that much of a loss to let that upgrade run the whole game, so they are convinced that you're doing it.
Yeah, I think you just cancel it at 90%. I mean, look at the resources that he's floating. Would 100 minerals really?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Change the math on how many?
And then the Zerg comes and attacks your add-on, and you're like, oh no, my add-on. But not really.
Because Solar has sent in 2 additional lings to the natural ramp to try and get an idea of what's coming. And, you know, he might think it's mech, but he has to be scratching his head a little bit. Seeing Stimpack being researched for so time, and now finally he does cancel it to get the resources to get all these critical upgrades up. So, yeah, it's a very long feign here for Ryung. I like it, because especially since Solar double-checked that with 2 lings. He's got to be a little bit confused. Ooh, Blue Flame also coming out with this. This is a bit of a deviation from what we saw from Cure.
Yep, he's going to come up now. Now we've got the Zerg's 4th base coming. Almost all timing attacks are just set up for like, okay, the 4th base is coming now. Let's see what kind of damage we can get done here. Transfuses barely get out. I thought they weren't going to happen for a second.
Yeah, these Queens almost entirely out of energy as a lot of the Hellions did get shaved off, but the Cyclone Ball unimpeded, and small counterattack here from Solar, not enough to get actually on the board, so maybe only 1 SCV or perhaps some mules being prioritized there by Solar as this barracks, this proxy barracks, now serving its role is providing vision here for the Cyclones. I like this nice synergy from the build in the early game to where we're at here in the mid game. It's a cool idea by Ryung. Not able to get too much extra damage with it in this case, but still very cool to see what he's been planning for this whole time.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he should continue the attack, right?
Well, I feel like this build, you have to, right? I don't think you just make the units and wait. I think the idea is that you trade out, and the way that you can control the Cyclones is so abusive, and then you just have the Hellions tank damage.
Yeah.
That like, it snowballs. Now, this is quite the find, by the way.
Yeah, these Ravagers morphing in, and especially finding these Roaches, although they are upgraded with speed off creep, unable to move away fast enough here from these Cyclones, so this should get cleaned up on Ryung's side of the map. And actually, hold that thought, never mind. That's a big surround coming in as Solar surprising everybody. Gets a couple of Cyclone picks, and now this is a situation where the Cyclones are not the best because they don't have as much room to kite here. They kind of have to deal with the Roaches knocking on the third base's door as quickly as they can, and instead SCVs are falling right now. So they're getting some very good damage, and behind this he's been able to drone back up and mitigate some of the worker advantage that Ryung was able to take with that earlier Hellion run by, and finally these Roaches will get defeated.
Now this is exactly how you take the wind out of their sails.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to interact with the Cyclones. This is like, the Cyclones fight, but it's the Roaches already doing damage to the economy. This is almost like your build order getting a flat tire. Like, I'm dead serious. It's just like, how are you going to make this work now?
Yeah.
The Roaches have already killed so many of the workers. And there's really no way that you're going to ever have that kind of moment that Cure had where you just get to run across the map and trade out. I mean, Solar really did a great job of navigating in this game.
Yeah, the fact that he was able to move across the map with all these roaches and kind of catch Ryung by surprise just really is the nail in the coffin in that situation, because with the Cyclones, you want to be able to kite them over the course, the full length of the map to get maximum damage over time before the roaches actually start to wreak havoc on your economy. And by then, you know, you can actually whittle down the roach count quite a bit and make it to be a manageable number. But instead, you know, Solar getting the jump on him right outside of his third base means that those roaches, they get to head into the third base mineral line. They get to section off those Cyclones into the top right quadrant of the map. And oh, Infestor's coming in. Very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But I mean, the roach damage just coming into the main base and the natural there was so huge. I feel like there's no momentum left for Ryung with a very momentum-based build, and I think GG
honestly,
might be called any second.
More roaches are going to kill off workers back here, and the attack's not going to work. And I love the way that Solar doesn't respect the build. He kind of just ignores the fact that there's a threat and runs right in there and just keeps killing workers. GG.
GG is called as Solar is going to advance, and we have the exact same lineup we do composition-wise in GSL Season 2 as we did in GSL Season 1. With a lot of Terrans, 2 Zergs, 1 Protoss. Solar the last Zerg to join the full force here, as we're going to get an interview with our winning player.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how Solar feels. Moving on, we do have 2 Zergs. I'm sorry, I know that everybody wanted 8 Terrans, but that's just the way the tournaments go. So, you know, let's see what Solar thinks his chances are. Oh, I feel bad for Ryung, but hey, man, I mean, we got to have the strong survive here in GSL.
He did look a lot better in his second match.
All right, we're ready for that interview now. Andy is with us. Take it away, Andy.
Well, congratulations on your victory today, Solar. Thank you. And so many Terran players thus far have made it to the round of 8, and you definitely came up with a counter strategy today. So what was that about? Well, practice and playing on stage is completely different, I realized today. And I think I need to upgrade my preparation for next game. So you did come up with those tournament strategies today to make your way to the round of 8. And now you move on to round of 8. How do you feel? Well, I'm preparing a lot for this season, and look at the round of 8 members. They're all very formidable opponents. So this one's not going to be an easy one for sure, but I'm going to try my best and try to win the GSL. And you know, ever since you started wearing like comfortably on stage, it feels like your performance is getting better, right? Yeah, I'm trying to you know, stay in the same environment as I play at home. But next time, you know, I'm gonna have to wear pants because on stage it's kind of cold. Well, that seems like you're gaming attire for now, Solar. I mean, you know, looking at the Terran players in the round of 8, they're all like GSL champions. They have been. So what do you think about Terran right now? Well, Terran was not only good last season, but it's still good this season. And this is definitely imbalanced. I think Terran race is superior compared to the other races. And it's just so good in tournaments. So I really wish that the map pool would change for now. You know, Byun, Cure, according to them, they're saying that the race is not imbalanced. It's just that the Terran players try harder. No, I think that's absurd because Zerg players, they try hard as well. And to me, I don't think the Terran players practice that much. And you know, they're just like winning everything. So I hope they have some conscience before they speak about that. Well, so far in international tournaments, you've been able to show great performance, but in domestic league in GSL, you have not been able to translate the performance on stage. So what is this about? Is it the pressure that you face in an offline stage?
GSL 무대에서 부담감이 솔직히 많이 사라진 것
Well,
같고요.
after
그러다
winning the
보니까
Super Tournament last year, I feel like the pressure has kind of worn off.
네, 다음에는 좀 더 갈고 닦아서
I'm gonna, try to
제 실력 발휘할 수 있도록
better my performance for the next match and try to win.
팬분들에게 이번 시즌 각오 한 말씀
Oh, then
부탁드리겠습니다.
lastly, do you have anything you want to say to the fans?
일단 제가 이번 시즌 이제 큰 대회도 앞두고 있고
Well, this season, I have a lot of, I have a big international tournament coming up,
더 좋은 경기력으로 더 돌아올 것
and in the round of 8, I'm gonna try to come out with a better performance. Oh, we look forward to it, Solar. Thank you.
All right, man. Dressing comfortably, man.
Fun interview.
Yeah.
I love the Crocs and the
I
shorts.
love the Crocs, man. Well, it's definitely better to wear Crocs in this weather, man. It's been raining every day. I wore Vans like a cool kid.
Yeah, I
but
wore
actually like an
boots.
idiot. My feet are wet. What did Lieutenant Dan say? Don't let your feet get wet.
Yeah, we had to cast this one on our socks, let our
I
feet
know.
dry. All right, so Kira and Solar advancing from Group D, the final players to move on to the round of 8. So we get a look here, round of 16. First players to advance, Maru, Byun, Darkin, Kira on the left side, TY Hero, Gumiho, and Solar on the second side. So this is just the first place and the second place. This is not the groups for the round of 8.
Yeah, that's important to note. Nobody can be paired with anybody from their nobody can be paired with anybody from their group.
And also we'll
Previously.
have, in each group, it'll be 2 first places and 2 second places.
That's right.
So the GSL groups for the round of 8 will be announced tomorrow. You can find that on the official Africa TV website or probably on social media. I'm sure you'll be able to find that one person who's able to get it and snap it up for you.
Yeah, look for the, you go online, go on Twitter, find the Terrans defending the race. Find the Zergs attacking them because they're not winning for the first time in a decade. And then see the people that are dunking on Protoss players, even though, maybe they're not so good. Maybe that race isn't so strong. I don't know. Just put some
Hero going to be the hope
spice
here.
out there.
Yeah.
I think Hero's going to win this one, actually.
You think he's going to win this GSL?
Let's do it, man.
Really? That's a bold prediction. He looked kind of shaky in his group, man.
He's got this, man.
That's confident. I wish I had that confidence in any aspect of my life.
A
The confidence that you have
Protoss
in
or a
Hero.
Zerg to win. Whenever it gets this dominant, I'm rooting against the overrepresented.
A PBZ
race.
finals would be sick with this lineup.
That would be good.
That would be very good.
That's
I mean, that
right.
the round of 4 is also going to be interesting, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent work, as always, State. This was a very fun round of 16. We're going to be back next week. If you want to buy tickets, they go on sale soon.
That's tomorrow, I
Tomorrow.
think.
Yeah. There it is. Look
Wow,
at that.
nice cue. You're a
Yeah.
professional.
I actually forgot that was coming. I was
I
like, well, I
also
should probably mention that. So.
Yeah, I think it's 5:30. Oh, 5:30 p.m. KST tomorrow, I believe they go on sale, and you can buy them up until match day.
Yeah.
1 hour into the show, and although I'm sure if you show up and there's seats available and you have cash, you can probably get a seat. But better to get it early. Be safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. There's a QR code downstairs you could scan with your phone and buy it. But, yeah, do come down. This means we have only 3 days of GSL left. I know that sounds insane, but the final day is the Final Four and the actual finals. Until they change that, it means that when we finish the round of 16, we're more than halfway done as far as GSL broadcasts.
Yeah, we just have 2 groups and then a big finals day
Yeah.
the same way we did last time. And that's some epic matches. God, I cannot speak. I'm so tired.
Me too. I don't know what's going on. No, same thing.
The rain is
I've had a couple
fatiguing us,
moments
I
where
think.
like another word comes out of my mouth that starts with the same letter. Is there something
Yeah.
I'm trying to say in the cast? Whatever. We did it. We got through it. Yeah. And so do be sure to join us for that.
If you're in Korea, make sure to stop by the studio.
Thanks for watching, guys. We love you. Bye-bye.